Imagine this: you're huddled close to a fire, its warmth the only thing separating you from the vast, biting darkness. For weeks, the hunters have returned with less and less. The plants you once gathered have withered. The familiar landscape, once a provider, is now a barren reminder of your growing hunger. The fire burns low, food grows scarce, and the horizon, that distant, unknown line, whispers a single, terrifying, yet hopeful word: move. This wasn't a choice made lightly. It was a gamble born of desperation and a flicker of human curiosity. This is the story of our earliest ancestors, the story of the first great human migration. This is the tale of how a species, on the brink of starvation, decided to walk into the unknown, and in doing so, inherited the earth. This is Stone Age survival, when feet found new worlds. To understand this incredible journey, we have to put ourselves in their shoes, or rather, their bare feet. For countless generations, human life was tied to a specific territory. You knew the streams, the caves, the migratory paths of the animals. This land was your identity. Leaving it was like stepping off the edge of the world. But survival is the most powerful instinct. The first step in this epic saga wasn't a grand plan. It was simple observation. Our ancestors were masters of their environment. They noticed the subtle shifts in the wind, the changing length of the days. They saw the great herds of mammoth, bison, and reindeer vanish as the seasons turned. The animals were moving. Where were they going? To greener pastures, to lands where food was still plentiful. The logic was inescapable: where the animals go, life can follow. The first migrations weren't a leap into the complete unknown. They were a calculated pursuit, following the footsteps of their next meal. It was a simple, brutal equation: follow or starve. This led to the next phase: experimentation. No one packed up their entire clan and marched 1,000 miles on a whim. It began with short, tentative journeys. A small group of hunters might venture further than ever before, over a ridge they'd only ever seen from a distance. They'd be gone for days, maybe weeks. The rest of the clan would wait, anxiously scanning the horizon for their return. Sometimes they'd come back empty-handed, their faces grim, confirming that the unknown was just as barren as the familiar. Other times, they'd return with news that sent a shockwave of hope through the group. They'd speak of a valley teeming with deer, a river choked with fish, a forest filled with edible plants. These small expeditions were probes, testing the world, gathering information. Each journey was a risk, a gamble with the lives of the tribe's strongest members. But each successful return built a repository of knowledge, a mental map of possibilities that stretched just beyond the horizon. They learned to cross shallow rivers, to find shelter in new types of terrain, and to identify unfamiliar but life-sustaining resources. They were learning the language of movement. Of course, this process was paved with heartbreak and failure. For every story of a discovered paradise, there were countless unspoken tragedies. Entire groups would set out, full of hope, and simply vanish. They might have been caught in a flash flood, succumbed to a disease for which they had no immunity, or wandered into a desert with no end in sight. The unknown was a merciless teacher. Imagine the terror of facing a mountain range vaster than anything you'd ever conceived, or a desert that stretched for weeks under a punishing sun. Many died in the unknown. The bones of these brave, forgotten pioneers lie scattered across continents, a silent testament to the immense cost of our species' expansion. But humanity is resilient. The failures, as devastating as they were, didn't stop the tide. Because, for some, the gamble paid off spectacularly. After a brutal journey, A group would stumble into a pristine landscape, a coastal estuary rich with shellfish, a vast grassland teeming with herds, a lush forest untouched by human hands. It would have felt like arriving in a mythical land, a paradise. This was the ultimate reward, the jackpot that fueled the entire migratory engine. The news of such discoveries, passed from clan to clan over generations, became the legends that inspired others to take the same risks. The success of the few justified the sacrifices of the many, and so the mastery began. Over thousands of years, what started as a desperate crawl for survival transformed into a confident stride across the globe. Groups spread out, following coastlines, tracing river valleys, and pushing across land bridges that no longer exist. With each new environment came new challenges, which in turn sparked new innovations. Those who settled along coasts developed sophisticated techniques for fishing and harvesting marine life. Those who moved into colder northern climates learned to create tailored clothing from animal hides and to build more robust shelters. As groups became separated by vast distances by mountains, oceans, and ice sheets, they began to change. They adapted not just culturally, but physically. Different climates and diets subtly shaped their bodies. New languages were born, new spiritual beliefs blossomed, and new social structures were formed. The single human family tree began to branch out, creating the beautiful diversity we see today. New tribes, new lands, new lives. This was the result of that first brave step away from the dying fire. When we look back at this incredible epic, it's easy to see it as a story of escaping hunger, escaping a changing climate. But it was so much more than that. Our ancestors weren't just running from something. They were running towards something, towards possibility, towards the future. This relentless forward momentum is encoded in our very DNA. The desire to see what's over the next hill is a fundamental part of what it means to be human. Movement was not escape, it was destiny. It was the process by which a fragile species, confined to one small corner of Africa, took possession of its inheritance, the entire planet. The world they discovered was wild, untamed, and full of new resources. But settling these new lands brought a whole new set of challenges and would lead to one of the single greatest innovations in human history. The constant wandering for food was about to be replaced by a revolutionary new idea. What if you could make your food grow right where you are? Join us next time as we explore the discovery that would change our world forever, the birth of agriculture. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey through time. If you enjoyed this exploration of our deep past, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next episode. We love reading your thoughts, so leave a comment below and let us know what you think was the biggest challenge for these first pioneers. Until next time, stay curious.